Alright, rain delay. Went to go eat lunch, and boy, I'm glad I put some stuff away because it started raining. And I mean raining. I think we got an inch, maybe inch and a quarter. Okay, it's exactly where I left off. Nothing's changed. Getting these caps off are not really easy because these things are tight on the sides, and because of the throws, which are right up against them, especially like these middle ones, these are really difficult. Even when you turn it, you have some slop, but very little to get them off. Some of the aftermarket blocks I've seen actually have a drilled and tap hole here in the center where you can put a bolt or something, a slide, and you can actually beat them up that way. But the advantage is there are some holes here, so it allows you to stick either pry bar or something like that and I get carried away. Unfortunately, I have started this video without taking that into consideration, and I got a lawnmower laying half on its side behind me and I can't get to my tools. So we will use this. Be careful. Just start easing it up, and generally they'll just come right out. You don't have to be super Clovis or carried away. Oh wow, that actually looks really, really good. I expected that to look a whole lot worse than that. Hang on, I gotta lay down. Right. And those only go one way. Yes, you can put them in backwards, but it won't do you much good. So, let's see. Let me get the back one out because that's got the throws at the bottom. Same deal, except you got to watch out for the reluctor ring. Don't booger it up. I also got this thing in a row. This is the cover plate. So I'm trying not to mash anything here. I know you probably can't see much. Matter of fact, you may not be able to see what I'm doing back here in the butt. This is the last, this number 5. Looks about as good. You can see there is some wear in that one. What I mean by you can put these in backwards, these have these ears that hang down both sides. Hopefully you're seeing what I'm looking at. And all the front 4, these ears face to the back of the block, and number 5, they face forward. Because even though they're numbered, they don't tell you which, they're not really showing you which way to go. So let's see here. Oh no. This is actually coming out easier than last ones I did. It's kind of like number 5. It's got a little bit of wear on it. This one has very little movement out of it because it's a middle one that uses your thrust bearing. You can see it has some wear in a few spots, but not. This bearing has a little bit more wear. Still looks good, but does have a little bit of wear. Last one. I'm being careful because this is an aluminum block. I don't want to get in and start jerking and being an idiot, being a big old Clovis, tear up an anvil in a sand pile. And you also don't want to beat anything on your journals if you're trying not to, if you don't want to do any machine work, try not to beat your machine surfaces to death. And that one's got some ugly spots in it, but looks pretty decent though. Alright, gonna pick this up. I'm gonna bet that this, you know what, I'm just gonna set that on there if I can. Set the plate back on there, take it all out as a unit. Be very careful pulling these out. That was a plate sliding back on with the rear main seal. I'm just looking here if I see anything that just a little bit of more debris between 3 and 4 cylinders than I do the rest, but I don't see anything that's scary yet. Oh no! Oh no! This thing caught on something. Oh yeah! They're not any lighter than they used to be, just because. Whoo! And my big head's probably in the way, wasn't it? I gotta set this somewhere where it's not gonna fall over. Sorry, beat the camera. Okay. Let me look at these bearings here. You know what? They don't look terrible. Of course, my rag is dirty and it's just getting it worse and worse every time I touch it. But no, I've not seen anything that scares me. Get another snot rag here. No. Believe me when I tell you, I've seen a lot worse. So I'm hoping this crank cleans up. I still may take it to the machine shop and have them just polish it up. Let me see if I can get one of these cam bearings cleaned up. See if I can see it. I need to really turn the block over. Yeah, I'm still working in limited space. That has not changed. Okay, I may have to put you down. The reason I'm still working in limited space is because I still don't have a shop. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. Pretty normal. Every one of these I've found is the same way. From here to here is smooth, and this is where the cam seems to be pulling. Then from here all the way up and around, it's like got burnt oil on it. You can actually see it if I can get out of the light enough you can see it. You can actually see the line almost from where it's where the cam actually rides and where the bearing doesn't even look like it's ever been touched. I don't know why that they do that. It's got to be the pressure that the timing chains put on it, I guess, and the valve train, because you think about it, your lifters are always pushing down, you know, as it goes to lift up a rocker. You know, you still have that, you got that spring load from your valve, you know, pushing back against it. So everything is pushing, you know, is down. So that's got to be what it is. Well, the one thing I do want to do is really quick, I want to do at least one cylinder. I want to quick try to run a hone down it just to see. Put my foot back on this thing. Boy, wished it was up one. I see cross hatching on some of it still, but I'm not seeing. Now I really want this up one more. I don't like what this is doing. Maybe I'll pull it down. Boy, I don't like it that way either. I want this really at a 90-degree angle, but it's actually past that, which is probably not bad. I don't have anything set up to do this, so I'm gonna have to find my WD-40. I'm not even sure where that's at. And let me get my drill and a battery and my hone, stones and everything, make sure everything's going to find my WD-40 that I know is around here somewhere. I'll bring it back in a second. All right, I'm going to do the third hole because the way everything's set up here, I don't want it dripping on everything. I'm completely out of space, so this is kind of just the best it gets. I have not cleaned. I've got one cracked stone, which isn't going to work very long. Actually, I got 2 cracked stones, so I have to go get some new stones. What I really want to do here right quick, though, is I just want to see if it's not going to even remotely start cleaning up the scratches I'm seeing. And I'll show you a cylinder next to it, because they're basically all the same. I couldn't find my WD-40. Don't know where it's at. Don't slide these. You can spin them, but don't slide them. Don't want to do that either. But I guess it's better than sliding it. Causes those stones to crack? Doing that. Oh, it just fell out of my drill. I don't have it spinning fast, and the reason I don't have it spinning fast is this is just checking. I'm not trying to resurface. I'm not trying to leave hash mark. I'm not doing anything like that. All I'm trying to do is to see if these scratches are going to stay or not. Because if they do, then it's going to have to be bored or something worse. Finding a whole nother block, possibly a cast block. Finding an aluminum one that doesn't need machine work, it's going to be pretty tough. So, I just don't know. And then I also need to get my inside snap gauges in here and find out how bad this is as far as wear. I am seeing the ring grooves on top, which I expected, although the pistons came out a lot easier than I thought they were going to. So, I am definitely seeing most of the marks I'm seeing, the scratches are actually on top of the cylinder. Let me fetch a light here right quick where you can see, because I'm not really seeing good. Now that the sun's gone and rain's out, I can't see nothing anymore. Let's see what we got. Starting to get rain on stuff. Now mind you, this was quick, it wasn't fast, it wasn't anything. I know sometimes these lights will reflect funny. But I can see I didn't hit the top part of that cylinder hardly at all. And again, I'm really not trying to bore it, I'm just trying to get it, see if I can get rid of them scratches. I'm not really seeing them so bad in this cylinder. I may have to find one that actually had a worse amount of scratches. But that, and I've got to get some new stones too. And these, if I'm not mistaken, they're fine anyway, so you're not really getting a, it's not biting very hard. And this stuff I'm using, I couldn't find my WD-40. And ball hones, I've seen people use oil. I think any type of a lubricant is obviously better than none. I really don't like to use motor oil on these because once they're saturated, it just seems like it holds the metal in it. And you're not getting it, you know what I'm saying, you're not getting the metal out. It actually adheres and sticks in all the, so you're just basically then rubbing, instead of a stone against metal, you're actually running your metal against metal. I'm not sure what's wearing better that way. And I'm not saying that's what happens, it's just in my mind, that's how I see it happening. So, I'll probably try to find some stones, and then I'll bring you back and do this cylinder again, and then I'll actually, well, I can measure it right now, but I don't have my book. I'm not sure where it's at. I think it's buried in the back of the garage. That actually shows the specs that I need. So let me try to find that, and then we can figure out what it is. I'll just quick check this one cylinder. I may check them all. It's not going to hurt anything, because if it's already at the end of it and I haven't even started doing what I'm going to do, it's not, you know what I mean, it's moot. So I'll bring you back here in a minute. Okay, back again. I have a full set of what they call inside snap gauges. This is not the ideal way. It works, and these are used, you know, in most cases. But basically, these things are spring-loaded. You can lock them into place, and then when you get them in where you're going, you snap them out. Make sure that they're centered up, and then tighten it up. And then when it comes out, it's supposed to hold the size it is. The bore on these, if you look at the Haynes book, is showing 3.779. Everybody I've looked up on it is 3.780. So they're all within a thousandth of each other, or whatever that is. So, and of course I also have my Starrett. That's how you measure between it. My Starrett. Everything I have is Starrett. I picked it up at a job I used to work. I don't recommend buying this if you're only going to do it once, but if you want to do it right, buy the good stuff in some of these cases. So, you want to do at least a third to halfway down, because that's where your piston rings are at all the time, if that makes sense. Top, all but the top edge of it, and then, you know, down to about halfway or so. So the top third of the bore is really where you want to check, because that's where your piston rides, whether it's going up or down. So most of it. So I'm going to make sure. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but trying to make sure it's dead lined up. Okay, let's see what I got. She's 0. I don't know if you can see that or not. 0 is there. I need at least 3.7. There we go. A little more. And there we go. It is 3.780. So that's actually good. That means, at least on that cylinder, she could still be standard. I will get some new stones. I will hone every one of them. But first I'm going to check every cylinder. I'm going to do it off camera. You just have to trust that I'm going to do it. Because if I have to replace pistons anyway, boring is just a little bit more money if I can get the pistons 10 over. That's the problem. And now I'm going off of what they were telling me, 10 over being the maximum you can go on these sleeves. I do not know, but judging by what these sleeves look like, I have not cleaned the top of the. If I need to show you. Oh, and by the way, always store your snap gauges if you buy them open without any pressure on it. That way the springs are always out. If you keep them collapsed and tight, the spring may get memory and it won't allow you to spring back out, if that makes any sense. So always, when you put that kind of stuff back, same with your torque wrench, always take it back to 0 when it's not in use. Take it back to 0. And I have basically all of the sizes. Not that I would ever use most of these, but some of them are you could use for, like, if you need to see the inside of the bore of the lifter pocket, for instance, the lifter, bore, just in case something's wrong there. If there's something else wrong somewhere else, I mean, sometimes these things can come in handy. You don't have to buy a whole set of them, obviously, but it's just not mine. That's the way it came. So we bought them at a shop I used to work for. We bought them for something. It wasn't a machine shop. It was something else, and we bought them for something else, and we just never did use them. And they sat there and sat there, and I was finally able to purchase them from work. So. Mind you, I don't know how these things look. They actually have to have a way to stop them from going down, so they must have a lip on top. But looking at that, they ain't very big. So, and I don't think I've got it 100% clean either, so I'm not really sure where it starts and where it ends. I'm just going by what it looks like from aluminum to something different. It's got a different machine finish on it. But basically, we'll take a peek at it. What I'm looking at here is, obviously this is aluminum, then you see the black garbage, I assume they put in there for sealant, and then you see that these have the lines on them from machine, you're going up and down. So your steel looks really thick, but I guarantee this has a top lip on it that stops these bores from going all the way down. Otherwise they would just slide down into the, into your cylinder. I could possibly turn it, let me turn it over, and let me put you back up here for a minute. And did you lock down, or are you going to fall off in a minute? Let me turn it over, and we'll see if we can see from the other side, like on the bottom of the. Not the weight's off of it. It's more than I can hang on to. I don't know. I know vomit cam, alright? You can see that isn't, they are absolutely right. You couldn't take much more of that off there. Yeah, see, it's thin. I mean, I don't have a tape measure on it. I know what you're, what you're kind of looking at there, but basically where you see that pitted area there, that is basically the inside of your sleeve. So yeah, I could see them telling you not to take more than 10 off. So yeah, I will check all the rest of these boards. I'm gonna do it off camera. It's a lot easier to, because I had to clean them, and I'll check all of them. If anything is over that number, then it's pretty obvious that I'm gonna have to do something different. 1,000ths don't sound like a lot, and your rings can make up for that. But the problem is you'll get piston slap if it gets too much slop, and the more slop you have, obviously the more beating it does, and it either tears up your piston because they're aluminum, or the coating on the piston, or it'll start eating into your cylinder wall. I mean, it's just how it works. So anyway, I'll do some more measuring, bring you back, and kind of let you know what the decision is, whether we just put pistons on it, call it. The advantage to the Gen 4s is they're not pressed in. So you can actually change the pistons yourself. I have to take it to a machine shop or have a press. So if there is an advantage, that's what it is. So I got to get some stones anyway, and like I said, I'm going to do some cleanup and we'll get some measuring and I'll let you know.